So hello friends, here we have a very interesting galaxy and I'm using the tool to do live stacking here. So when I start it, each exposure is 1 second of length. Then the image will get less and less noisy and better, at least I hope so. And then we'll see what happens. I've shown you this live stacking before with a much smaller telescope, but this here has 20 centimeters open diameter and a meter of focal length. And the galaxy here is very well known. That's the Sombrero Galaxy, and it's standing quite nicely at the moment because it's in April, which is in the middle of the galaxy season. And afterwards I'll probably take a couple of pictures without live stacking and then compare in the end. Both has advantages and disadvantages. Here you can see that 33 images have been used already for the stacking. And the mount is not too accurate, so it will wobble a little bit on one side and on the other, which for the live stacking can be actually an advantage because it makes like a sort of dithering. So you can see that there are hot pixels here on this color cam. The hot pixel, for example, there are red ones here and there are blue ones here, and there's a green one here. And over time they will vanish more and more. And this is a Newton telescope, so the secondary is held by a spider, and in the bright stars you can see the cross from the spider. I think here is also a galaxy. Not perfectly sure yet, but we'll see that later if it really turns out to be a galaxy or not. But by time the image may shrink a little bit, so then in the end I'll have to stop when it shrinks too much. But I think the galaxy is visible quite nice already here with a bit more than 60 seconds stacked. Actually we have 2 seconds subs that are stacked. I have no idea for how long we're gonna do this. Over time maybe there will be some airplanes or some satellites which could destroy the image. And there's a little bit of yellow in the middle. I don't know where this comes from. Actually, I used a tube, a prolongation tube in front of the Newton telescope, because without that the image was completely orange. And our plan is to use this camera also to demonstrate galaxies and nebulas during public observations here in the observatory of Wittikon. So then there will be more light, and then we'll definitely need something as a shade, so no light can come in. At least the noise doesn't get worse. It gets better and better, and I think this thing I mentioned here really turns out to be a galaxy. And up there is also a galaxy. If you're lucky, we may also see some dwarf galaxy around the Sombrero, which is a large galaxy. It's also called M109, and it can be found in the Raven. Maybe we'll do this for 10 minutes or so. Now we have almost 130 images stacked, so it's 260 seconds. And we haven't done anything to brighten the image, like gamma or something. But the analog gain that we use here is 200. And the image is uncooled with a 585 chip, color chip. Now we have a little bit more than half of the stacking process. We can see that the image is a bit brighter in the middle and fades out a little bit to the right. I'm not sure why that is. And it's good for our latitude. This galaxy is very low and can't be seen very often. I also thought about picking some galaxies in the Leo, but in the Leo I can take pictures a large part of the year. Actually, the galaxy reminds me rather of a UFO than of a sombrero from the form. But this dark band here is very characteristic for this galaxy. One pixel of the image is 3.7 micrometers. So I used full resolution of the camera. Actually, these red and blue and green marks, they don't really vanish. That may be a bit of a disadvantage of this method. For live observing, that's not an issue, but if I want to do something with the image later, that will be not optimal. There are softwares where you can also subtract a dark image. That would have helped. Not in this one though, that is quite simple. Now we reached some 8 minutes. pure summing. And now a satellite is coming, as I predicted. It's coming through here. Fortunately not very close to the galaxy. But I'll try to produce a better image of the galaxy afterwards, and I will probably publish it on Instagram. Maybe we'll wait till 12 minutes. And sometimes while stacking it ignores lots of image, but today it doesn't do that. Probably has to do with the mount, how stable the mount is. If it moves too much, then the images will be ignored probably. And the resulting image, of course, I will take as a thumbnail for the video. So thanks a lot for taking part in this observation. Now the image doesn't get much better anymore, I think. Clear skies, everybody.